ahead, sir.
Yes, please come.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Hardik. Please sit down.
Sir.
So, Hardik, please introduce yourself to the panel.
Sure, sir. So, my name is HARDIK. I belong to Ghaziabad in Uttar Pradesh. I have done my graduation in Electronics and Communication Engineering from NIT Allahabad. There, I was placed second in the table tennis competition of my hostel in second year. In my third year, I was placed third among 150 students in my annual technical competition of the branch. In the fourth year of my college, I worked as a mess secretary. After
Yes.
a mess secretary, sir. After that, I worked in the IT sector as associate manager for 25 months. There, I got the opportunity to mentor a team of 5 interns also, two of who got placement based on my recommendations. After that, I left my job to prepare full time for the civil services. My option is physics, and in my free time, I like to brew coffee, play table tennis, and read novels.
Okay, good. Uh, Hardik, you work in some travel technology company.
Right, sir?
So, what is this company into? What kind of travel?
So my company made softwares for online travel agencies such as Traveloka, Make My Trip, etc. We connected them with hotel service providers like Taj, Hyatt, etc.
Mhm. So, Make My Trip already has a OTA. I mean, in the
Right.
sense, so they for addition of more hotels, they you come into picture.
Yes, sir. So for some companies, we provided additional services. There were other companies that gave the task of connecting them to hotels to us because we were cost competitive and efficient in our work, sir.
So tell me these OTAs and the kind of technology which has transformed tourism, how it has made traveler independent.
So there are many things. First of all, social media today has informed people about the different places they can go when they
What
visit some
social
place.
media?
Yes, sir. So first of all, social media.
Okay.
So we can follow influencers and get all the information. Second, online travel agencies help people book complete packages for their trips. They do not have to go to multiple vendors. There is a single window solution. Third, sir, because of analytics, people have good idea when they should visit some place, what are the best places to visit because of the reviews. These are the ways technologies have changed tourism, sir.
Very good. Coming to Uttar Pradesh, now tell me, Uttar Pradesh is aiming for a very high GDP growth rate and reaching, culminating in 1 trillion US
Right, sir.
dollars.
Right.
Now, tell me, while UP may become a robust economy if it achieves that level, but how per capita income, where UP is one of the lowest,
Right, sir.
that needs to be augmented.
Right, sir.
How do you think with this high GDP or high big economy or $1 trillion, how would it address the per capita income issue?
So first of all, as example of India has shown, growth in GDP benefits all sections of the society. So per capita income is going to rise as the state progresses. Second, UP is planning to become a $1 trillion economy by leveraging its demographic dividend. For example, tourism, a labor intensive industry. Because of this, the incomes of people, especially in the travel sector and those working in uh, underprivileged sections of the society is going to improve. Third, sir, in UP, we are planning to scale our youth in latest technologies. Because of this, as the technology progresses and more companies come to our state, people will be able to find jobs and increase their per capita income.
Okay. Uh, what is linguistic secularism?
So, this is the first time I've heard that phrase, but I can make a guess if you allow.
Can you make a guess?
So, it means that the state is adopting equal distance towards all the languages.
All right. So that means secularism in language in.
Right, sir.
So now this is basically what the Honorable Supreme Court said in 2014 in one of the judgments, And it said that languages should come by evolution. It cannot be imposed, otherwise there will be a lot of discontentment. And in India, the laws are not so rigid. Now, this three language policy which came in NEP, now, and the kind of issue that has been raised, by Tamil Nadu and other states. Now, is it justified to impose any particular language on any state?
So I believe that it should not be seen as an imposition. Uh, the third language should be seen as a way for diversification, because we are not targeting any particular states. Even in northern states, along with Hindi, other languages of the country should be learned. Yes, I believe that no language should be imposed on anyone, but people should be promoted to know more about their country. Currently, in our country, English has become the primary language for people to connect. I believe that it should be any Indian language, even if it is not Hindi in the southern states. It should at least be another Indian language that will be benefited by three language policy.
Hardik, my next question is basically to ask you, US with the new administration, they brought over the trade tariffs on India also. Now, unlike Canada, unlike China, unlike Mexico and European Union, we quietly sat down with US and started working on whatever was dictated by US. Now, this policy of India, is it a policy or is it an act of submission to the US directives, or do you think that it's a very good diplomacy on the part of India?
So in my opinion, it definitely shows very nuanced diplomacy to handle the situation in a way that benefits our country the most. So may I elaborate on that?
Yes. How would it benefit the? I mean, we don't know what future lies.
Right, sir.
Maybe India signs on the dotted lines.
So, according to Goldman Sachs analysis, in case of full-blown trade war with USA, India's GDP will suffer by around 60 basis points. Our exports will fall by around 11 to 12%. Yes, we could have taken a very aggressive stance towards USA, but we believe in the welfare of our people. We do not believe in posturing. That is why we want to sign a bilateral treaty in which both USA and India benefit.
So why have other countries they don't need America's support? Why have they confronted?
So that may be because first, India's trade dependency on US is not very high compared to Canada and Mexico. Yes, they are our largest export destination, but compared to Canada, China, and Mexico, our external trade with them is lower.
So India has more interest in US.
So our policymakers are very flexible, and because we have less risk compared to those nations, we have been able to make a better and well thought out judgment. Also, sir, we have been ready for a scenario when Mr. Donald Trump would come to power, learning from his policies in the his first time in the office. There also he started trade wars. We aim to learn from
Had
those.
it been, had this been with China, you think we would have adopted the same conciliatory approach and not a confrontationist approach 2 years before, when we banned all the Chinese firms, asked them to go away? Now, is it the good relation that the two countries enjoy or their heads of state enjoy? Is that has that any role to do with this kind of diplomacy of India?
Definitely yes, but major difference between China and US is that our problem with USA right now is an economic one. Our problem with China 2 years back was a strategic one. It was a matter of national security. That is why, although we kept on engaging with them through diplomacy, we had to impose several bans on their products and services.
My last question, you have done electronics and communication also.
Right, sir.
Now, we are inviting Starlink.
Right.
Can't India also launch a satellite which can be a substitute to Starlink?
Yes, sir, we definitely can. But I believe that we should first learn from example of countries who have already succeeded in this part. our human resources can get training. Our partners such as Jio and Airtel can get the
But we
know-how.
have a policy of Atmanirbharta. We generally make ourselves defense everything.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it the Musk effect which is prevailing on India?
No, sir. So I believe that through experience, we have learned that it is best to build supply chains in reverse for Atmanirbharta, because currently we do not have the necessary equipment manufacturers for satellite internet services. By inviting Starlink, we can learn from their services and then build our own domestic model.
Thank you, Hardik. I pass on to
So, Hardik from UP,
Yes, sir.
and you are interested in brewing coffee.
Right, sir.
Good. Which are the areas where the coffee is grown in India maximum?
The maximum coffee is grown in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu in India.
And what was the export last year of coffee?
So between April and November last year, our exports crossed $1.14 billion.
$1.14 billion.
Yes.
And what is the ranking of India in coffee production throughout the world?
So last I saw, it was around sixth or seventh positions.
Good. And which are the species of coffee that are grown generally in India?
So generally, India has Arabica, Robusta, Excelsa, and some quantity of Liberica varieties of coffee.
But maximum is Robusta
Yes,
and
sir.
this
Yes, sir. Maximum
Arabica.
coffee is
What is the
Robusta.
difference between Arabica and Robusta?
The Arabica coffee has a taste that is more complex and sweet. Also, it needs optimal
What is
conditions.
the altitudinal difference between Arabica and Robusta? In
So,
which altitude which coffee is grown?
so Arabica is grown at great altitudes at right weather conditions, around where there is around 150 to 250 centimeter rain and around 28 to 30-degree temperature. Robusta can be grown in much more robust conditions, with at low altitudes, in lower conditions of rain and adverse temperatures.
These coffee plantation workers, they are facing a lot of problems.
So,
What
yeah.
type of problems they face?
So, first of all, they are being displaced by mechanization nowadays. Second, because of coffee rust disease, many a times their plantation, their hard work goes to waste. Third, sir, they are facing, because of competition from foreign exports in coffee, workers in India are many a times become jobless. These are the problems they are facing right now. The workers specifically.
Is there any body in India which regulate all these coffee things?
Yes, sir. So it
What is
is
that?
the Coffee Board of India under Coffee Act 1942.
Where it is headquartered?
This is something I cannot recall right now, but I'll make a point to read about it.
And when the coffee was introduced in India?
So it was introduced sometime in 1670 by Baba Budan, who smuggled it from Yemen to Chandragiri Hills.
Uh, can you tell me something about defense corridor of UP?
Sure, sir. So defense corridor is being developed across 6 nodes in Uttar Pradesh: uh, Agra, Aligarh, Chitrakoot, Jhansi, Kanpur, and Lucknow. Work has started on some of the nodes such as Aligarh, but there are areas such as Lucknow and Agra that are lagging in progress.
And what type of things in what you told Kanpur,
Yes,
or
sir.
what is being produced there?
So in defense,
It's a defense corridor.
right, sir.
What are the defense things that are being produced?
So this is something I'll have to read about. May I make a guess?
Mhm.
So last I heard, in those areas, rifles were being manufactured with help of our foreign
And
partners.
in Lucknow node?
This is something I'll have to read about.
Okay. Hardik, this recently this Waqf Bill is also in news. What is the controversy regarding this Waqf Bill? Is in Parliament.
Yes, sir. There
Yeah.
is. So there are concerns that government is trying to increase its control over the Waqf board that manages Waqf property. Also, some provisions of the act dictate that there should be presence of people from other religions in the Waqf board to make it more diverse and representative.
So what is the controversy then?
So the controversy is that people are asking why should there be people of other religions in the in a body that manages work property. Also, sir,
And any other controversy
sir, I cannot recall any other
regarding
controversy.
the adjudication of the cases in Waqf?
Sir, there have been allegations on Waqf board that sometimes acquisition of properties by it is arbitrary. This bill has tried to check that. Maybe that is what you are referring to.
No. Once a Waqf, always a Waqf. What
Okay.
do you mean by that?
Some may I make a guess because I have
Hmm.
not really heard about it. I
Hmm.
can make a guess.
Hmm.
It means that once a property has been declared a work property,
Hmm.
it cannot be reverted back to normal property.
Is it okay?
So I don't think so. With times, things change, and there should be flexibility in our approach.
Flexibility means what?
So it means that
I
if
mean, it's a matter of law.
right, sir,
It's not a question of flexibility.
right, sir.
What is the position of law in this regard?
So I'm not knowledgeable about that.
Okay. My last question is about recently a term is being used very often about biodiversity leakage. What is biodiversity leakage? It's quite in news recently. Biodiversity leakage.
Sorry, sir, but I'll have to read about that
Okay,
phrase.
okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Hardik. Thank you very much.
So, Hardik, many interesting things in your depth. Let's start with this quintethalon.
Yes, sir.
So, what is quintethalon?
So it was a four-stage annual technical competition of my branch that I was placed third in among 150 students in my third year of college.
So, what all were the subjects there?
So it included all the subjects related to my branch in the two written rounds and the interview round. After the two written rounds, there was one GD round also to check personality and verbal communication
All right.
skills.
So let's let's pick up physics because physics is your optional
Sure.
also. So Sunita Williams
Yes, sir.
is now going to land on Earth.
Right, sir.
It may happen tonight or tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So tell me what impact of remaining in space is there on the health of all astronauts who were stuck up there?
So there are several consequences. First, the hard layer of skin below their feet gets peeled off in space. This is a phenomenon called baby feet. Because of this, they face difficulty walking on Earth. Second, because of pressure difference in space and other factors, the bone density of their bone densities starts reducing. Third, they may face damage due to harmful radiations in space.
So Hardik, table tennis.
Right, sir.
So once upon a time there was a ping pong diplomacy.
Yes, sir.
What other kind of diplomacies are you aware of that play a crucial role in relationship with between two countries?
So first would be good informal relationships between the heads of state. For example, between PM Modi and President Putin or President Trump right now. Another would be back channel diplomacy, where countries agree on the broad frameworks of agreement before their leaders meet. So third would be multilateral diplomacy, where like-minded countries meet in a multilateral format. These are what I can think of right now.
And what about soft power diplomacy?
The soft power diplomacy means we are utilizing our non-military powers, such as people-to-people ties, trade, culture, etc., to influence other countries into making policies that are favorable to us.
So Hardik, you you are a technical graduate. Tell me difference between 5G and 6G.
Definitely, sir.
5G and 6G.
So the first difference is the area on radio wave spectrum that the two technologies occupy. 6G waves will have higher frequency. Second, because of higher position in the spectrum, 6G waves will have larger broadband spectrum, more signal, they'll have more spectrum, so much of it can be allocated. Third, it will have higher speeds compared to 5G because of high frequency. So these are the
Any human
differences.
interface will be involved in 6G?
So the technology is currently under development. So I'm not very knowledgeable about.
All right. All right. So, how should India negotiate an uncertain world, keeping our economic interest and our uh, defense interest intact?
Sure, sir. So first of all, we should diversify our engagement so that we are not dependent on any one particular country. Second, uh, we should train our officials in the art of negotiation, as our Commerce Ministry has done right now for FTAs. Third, uh, in the matters of economy and defense, we should identify areas of common interest with different countries. For example, we signed pact with New Zealand recently because we had a common interest in containing China in the region. In terms of economic interest, I believe that we should sign FTAs with other countries so that both the countries benefit in the long. These are the things actually.
Okay, good, good, good. You read novels.
Right, sir.
So, which is the last most interesting novel you have read? And just tell me about it.
So I am in the middle of reading 1984 by George Orwell. It is about a dystopian future where a totalitarian state controls every aspect of people's life through fear, propaganda, and manipulation. It is about the importance of privacy in people's lives, and it is a critique on the communist Russia.
One last question is your views on one nation, one election. So, a lot of debate is going on, and meetings are being held by the committee.
Right, sir.
So, tell me your own views on one nation, one election.
So I believe that one nation, one election is a great idea that should be brought back. Yes, there are challenges such as concerns of the states, or uh, there are concerns that what if some legislative assemblies dissolve in between, and other concerns, but it has many benefits. For example, it will lead to cost savings in terms of deployment of personnel, officials in campaigning and in carrying out elections. Also, sir, right now our country is always in election mode. There are around 5 to 6 elections every year, and because of model code of conduct, development work has to be halted. So I believe after due consultations with all stakeholders, it is a policy that should be carefully implemented.
Thank you.
I can see you have been the secretary of Hostel Mess Committee.
Right, sir?
Food wastage is a major issue in India, particularly in hostels and even in public distribution systems for that matter.
Right, sir.
What measures can be taken so as to minimize the food wastage and improve efficiency in schemes such as midday meal program?
So first of all, we can use analytics to see how many people come to eat food any particular day and on any particular time. This will help organize the food distribution program in an efficient manner. Second, we can have contracts with nearby centers where animals are fed so that any waste food goes to the poor animals. Third, I believe that there should be collaborations with NGO so that any raw material in preparation of food which are left can be passed on to nearby orphanages where such things will be of great use.
Uh, you organized blood donation camps.
Right, sir.
There is a lot of misinformation
Right, sir.
vis-a-vis blood donation, which prevents people from participating in such campaigns. What measures can be taken to encourage people to go for voluntary blood donation?
First of all, uh, the various misconceptions surrounding blood donation should be busted. For example, people believe that it causes weakness. This is not true, and we can make people aware of that. For this, we can use social media. Second, we can seek the help of various religious leaders. Uh, we can convince them about the importance of blood donation, and they can convince their various followers to engage in the noble act. Third, we can recount the benefits of blood donation to different people, appeal to their sense of self interest, and get them engaged.
Okay. You are into informal mediation. You enjoy that?
Sir.
Okay. Mediation is an essential skill in governance.
Right, sir.
Can you share an example of any conflict that you successfully mediated, and what lessons you learned from that incident?
Once I got the opportunity to mediate conflict between two of my co-workers in office. It was a discussion over politics that went a bit too far because we were working on the same project. I was concerned about our commitment to the timelines. I talked to the two of them separately. I tried to nudge them in the direction that it was a small issue. In the end, vice sense prevailed and the matter cooled down. From that, I learned that many a times it is the small things that get blown out of proportion. The best thing is to let people cool down. Uh, people associated with those involved should not take sides in the conflict. And once everyone tries to play down the conflict, vice sense generally prevails.
Okay. Uh, since you are from Ghaziabad, Ghaziabad is rapidly urbanizing district
Right, sir.
with a lot of issues like traffic congestion, pollution. What measures do you think should be taken in order to address these challenges, particularly traffic congestion?
So first of all, we should specifically talking about the traffic congestion. We should identify the various choke points in the city, and the reasons why traffic is getting stuck there. Second, we should use technology to efficiently monitor vehicle passage and analytics to check at what time of day there is a peak in the traffic. Third, there should be capacity building of officials in the traffic police, so that they are better able to manage traffic. Finally, we can make people aware of the traffic schedule that a city sees, so that they are able to plan their journey accordingly.
Okay. The debate for India's work culture has been going on for a while.
Right.
Some corporate leaders are of the opinion that Indians should be working 70 hours a week. What is your viewpoint about this debate?
I believe that there are times when uh, we have to work hard without seeing the number of hours. But many studies have suggested that rather than more number of hours, it is higher productivity that we should target. And highest productivity is obtained in a 4 days week. So I believe that yes, we should go by our instincts, be flexible, but it is better to make our policies based on scientific evidence.
Okay, thank you. I pass on to Honorable Chairman, sir.
Hardik, anything in your DAF which the panel may not have touched or covered? If you think so, I can ask one more last question.
So I would be happy to answer any question.
No,
on
we
that.
have whatever we wanted to ask. If you think that something has been left out and you point it out, which topic, then I can ask a question. There's no compulsion. It's up to you.
Nothing I can think of right now, sir.
All right. So, Hardik, we are over with the interview. You'll proceed to the next room for some time. We'll call you in 2 minutes for the feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Please sit down. So, Hardik, how did you do today?
So I think I did well. Just there was a question related to Waqf Bill, which it was a question I should have answered because it was very much in the news.
Yeah, that's right. So, Hardik, The panel is quite impressed with your performance today, and this is your second time you're going to the UPSC
Yes, sir.
interview. So we'll discuss about your performance in the end. But today you did very well. You conducted yourself pretty well. You were in good command. You were uh, good in communication, and you knew. I mean, you were put a variety of subjects, and you were able to here and there, one or two questions may not make much difference, but the it is always good, to read more and more. So that is one, and you were balanced also in your stands. And at one or two occasions, I found that in my own question, you could have been a little more balanced. I will mention where. And so in all, you are shaping very well. Your interview is on 8th April.
Right, sir.
Two, three things, Hardik, which you may not note in your own self, your personality. Firstly, you have a tendency to move your hands, use your hands.
Right, sir.
Avoid that. Okay. Best way would be not to even keep your hands like this. Keep them, rest them somewhere,
Yes, sir.
so that you're not tempted to use them.
Sure.
सो देर ऑल्सो उसको एक के ऊपर एक रख के, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा, हाँ, क्लास्पिंग भी मत करिएगा. दूसरा मैंने देखा कि आप यू हैव स्टिल सम स्पिल ओवर ऑफ योर एग्जीक्यूटिव काइंड ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी, द प्राइवेट सेक्टर एग्जीक्यूटिव. It was coming in you through some, informal words that you were using. I could just make one or two. Like there was some question on something, so you said it was a great idea.
Right, sir.
Now this is how you talk to your colleagues, or maybe in the executive, in the private sector executive, you even call people by first names and all. उसको आधे घंटे के लिए थोड़ा सा ड्रॉप कर दे. So just mind the words that you use, expressions that you use. Oh, that would be fantastic, sir. You can't use that.
Right, sir.
Oh, that's a great idea. You can't use that. You can say the same thing in a different way. Yes, sir, in my opinion, that was a good decision. The government took a good step. I mean, I'm just giving you various options, but something that should suit that particular expression. That is number two. So this informality in your hand movement, informality in using some of the, those slang words or otherwise, that has to be a little controlled.
Okay, sir.
There is nothing like how to be like a civil servant. But anything which is not like, in a formal setup, you have to be as formal as possible. Right? So these are the only few things, because we generally concentrate more on the knowledge part, delivery part, communication part, but we generally forget, that these things,
Yes.
they do matter. And since you have been there once, I don't know what's your experience been, but we have seen this, and so we thought. Now coming to the last point, which I said that somewhere you must, so when I asked you some opinion related thing, like for US India thing, so you did mention that it was an act of diplomacy, and on the US tariff. Later on, as we discuss more and more, you started making a point that other countries may not need America as much as we need. Now, what does that show? It shows that India is playing its card very well, right? And number two, there is something for which we have to remain in contact with America,
Right, sir.
because of our own strategic interests.
Right.
So what is required? Ki, sir, India has certainly played a good diplomacy, because confronting with America, which is a superpower, especially when we need a lot of things from India, from America, from US, would not have been a good idea.
Right.
Are you getting my point? There's a difference. One is that no, sir, we are neutral and we are just behaving just like any other. No, we have interest in exporting to US, right? And so we don't want to confront. And even otherwise, sir, confronting with a person or personality like this gentleman, you know, because everyone is talking about his uncertain policies. You know, today he's something, tomorrow is something else. That is why US is passing to recession also. So you can, the stand is the same. आपने बात जो कही है मैं उसी को कह रहा हूँ. But somewhere you have to also don't just go one way totally. है ना. स्टारलिंक का भी मैं नहीं कहूँगा कि जो है आपने गलत बोला, बट यस सर वी कैन, although sir we have this make in India, this, it is true. One option is, sir, that we could wait for some more time and take action in this. The other is that, sir, we use the experience of the, you know, the we also export technology. We can import technology also and see on trial basis. So basically, you know, mutual interest. And otherwise, you are doing very well. Let's hear other members.
Sir, I just wanted to ask.
We'll have the question answered in the end.
Sure.
You listen to other, maybe you'll have more questions from him, them also.
Sure.
So, Hardik, you are a very good candidate. You've done well. Good confidence. Communication is very good. And answers are also quite well structured answers given. You are very good at brewing coffee. Good answers. In defense corridor, please update yourself about the defense corridors. In fact, our defense minister was there in Lucknow for BrahMos missile manufacturing unit or something like that. So in Lucknow, but other notes are also getting developed. So that is an important industrial corridor, defense industrial corridor in UP. It's a very important one. So UP infrastructure is an important area to know about. Regarding Waqf Bill, it's quite in news.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's quite a detailed one, and there are a lot of contentious issues about it. So you cannot appeal, or you cannot appeal. Then person who is complaining, he has to produce the certificates. The Waqf board cannot. If Waqf board, Waqf board says that this is my property, then he need not show any papers. The person who is aggrieved, he has to show the paper, something like that. All such type of things are there. So in detail, go through it. Waqf bill. It's quite important. Biodiversity leakage. It's quite important nowadays. What is happening that the big industries, the big the developed countries, where there are quite tight conservation issues. They are quite tight on the biodiversity conservation issues. They don't allow timber. They don't allow any any factory which is producing lot of greenhouse gases sort of thing. So lot of restrictions are there in many Western countries. So what is happening? Those things are getting transferred to those areas in the world where there are less protection. Okay, there are less protection. Say for example, in Indonesia, they have said that we will not allow timber felling in a large scale. So what has happened? Now Malaysia has got a chance. So Malaysia is doing a lot of timber felling. So what is happening that in that Malaysia, the biodiversity is getting completely devastated, right? So that is on the action of Indonesia, Malaysia is getting is a sufferer, something like that. Some very strict restriction in Norway or Sweden, and sufferer is some third world country here in Vietnam or something like that. So that is the biodiversity leakage. The biodiversity leakage is there. So read about it. It's a very interesting thing for you to know. Rest you have done very well. Okay, and besides this thing, you are shaping up very well. You'll do well. All the best.
So, Hardik, I liked your personality.
Thanks, sir.
Good, confident. You were communicating well. On content part, in ping pong diplomacy, where you gave, so you could have added cultural diplomacy, economic diplomacy.
Right,
All
sir.
right. These two are equally important. Number two is on 5G and 6G. You are a communication engineer.
Right, sir.
6G is under the research stage, but two things are known. Application will be with AI in case of 6G. So far more higher applications are there with 6G. And 5G is already being used for IoT and various other autonomous cars, etc. So while addressing a question, I am not expecting you to know everything.
Yes, sir.
But speed, 5G ki speed, 6G ki speed, you know, 1 terabyte for 6G and 20 Gbps for 5G. You could just mention these two aspects. And negotiating uncertain world, that you were good, Sunita Williams. So rest all is fine.
Yes.
1984
Yes,
is
sir.
very important and very relevant.
Yes, sir.
Its relevance in today's world.
Yes, sir.
That is why all of a sudden 1984 has attracted a lot of attention.
Right,
Okay,
sir.
it was written almost 100 years ago.
1948.
Wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Well, my final thoughts are quite same. You conducted yourself with confidence. The arguments that you advanced were quite convincing. You were relaxed while responding to my questions. Your knowledge base is also good. You are very promising. You will do really well. I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
So anything, Hardik? Now you can ask questions.
So I observed that when I was uh, so when you asked the question on India and USA, I mentioned a point that uh, compared to Canada, Mexico, and China, our trade dependence on USA is not much. I wanted to say about more points after this, but I thought that maybe because it was a bit unconventional, the point was a bit unconventional, your interest got picked in it, and there were counter questions. So, in the example, in the actual interview, should I go ahead with conventional points first and then mention an unconventional point? Or because then I'll be able to say more points. Here, we were stuck
No,
in one
no.
point.
In this case, what would have your conventional point been?
So, why India has been better able to traverse the relation? So, first of all, we were better prepared for Trump 2.0. Second, our leader has very good personal relations with Mr. Trump. Third, we believe in quiet diplomacy and not in uh, showing off our economic prowess on the world stage. And then I could have said about how compared to China, Mexico, and Canada, we are, although we are in the top 10, our trade exposure to USA is not that great.
So come with the first one, the way you have done today, just now.
Just now.
You mentioned, no, that, sir, India and US have got a very, long-term relation over the last almost more than decade. Ever since, I think, 2009, when this nuclear treaty was signed, India has been improving, minus some ups and downs. Secondly, sir, as we have also seen that President Trump and our Prime Minister, they enjoy a very cordial relation with the personal relation, and they call each other friends. So they have, the mutual trust is also more. Thirdly, sir, the quiet diplomacy. And number four, so normally India's foreign policy has always been not to take a knee-jerk reaction. Wait and watch diplomacy, which we have done in Maldives. It has paid off.
Yes.
We are doing it in Bangladesh, which would pay off, and likewise in all the countries where we have. So, and sir, also that, but the point that you have made in the end is not correct. India exports a lot.
Yes, sir, we do.
So why has India's interest not as much as any other country? You can't measure in terms of, see, for India exporting so much to US is very important for India's economy.
Yes, sir.
Canada के लिए maybe twice they are exporting may be useful.
Yeah, not
But-
comparable.
India's pharma sector is all dependent on US.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So don't make that statement at all that we don't have so much to do with US and so we are just ignoring and all. No. So if you see on the other hand, why the initial points are important, because people here sitting here would know. If you take relation between China and Trump, bad. Canada and Trump, bad because of the neighborhood issues.
Right.
Mexico and that, bad because of infiltrations. EU and this bad because of Ukraine thing. So are you getting my point?
Yes, I'm.
So at times, you can't say it that diplomacy is dependent on the human nature as to how you are, the personalities, but the fact is that it is.
Yes, sir.
You can't make it so obvious that, sir, because he's like that, that's why. But the fact is, between the countries, there is a no trust deficit between all those countries against whom he has put massive tariffs. Am I right?
Okay. Yes.
He has called only those countries with whom he has good relations. He
Yes.
called Indian Prime Minister, he called Israeli Prime Minister, he called one more UK Prime Minister who met him on his invitation. Now, is that not an indication that I have good relations with you and that is why I've called you?
Definitely, sir.
Zelensky came because of the other reason. So, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question, Hardik?
No, sir.
So, Hardik, we have given you 65% today.
Okay.
So, you are very promising. You will get even much more.
Okay, sir.
Just take care of these 2-3 things that I have mentioned initially.
Definitely.
One or two questions here and there will not make much difference. But give that impression that you are committed to the kind of culture that civil service has. And you have shed all the executive kind of thing. You have the knowledge, experience, that is fine. But don't bring that culture with you.
Okay, sir.
The culture of the point that I mentioned to you. How much you got last time?
So I got 179.
65 हमारा कितना होगा?
179.
Exactly the same.
Yeah,
So this was 2 years before, Hardik.
Yes.
We have given you 179. You got 179.
Give a big push, Hardik.
Sure. Give first.
Okay. So wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.